All right, guys, let's welcome Brock Lindow back to the Talk Toomey podcast here. New album by Paradise Slaves with Hell in His Eyes out May 2nd on Spine Farm Records. Brock, how are we doing today?
Good, man. Thanks for having me.
Dude, I have to say, man, it is nice to hear your voice again on some music. Like it's like a warm blanket, man, hearing that voice, man.
I appreciate that, man. Thanks. Yeah, it was a lot of fun to do, and it's always nice to hear that.
Yeah, it's cool. It's funny, man. Your voice just over the years has just been so unique, and like that's Brock. Like there's no like nobody sounds like you. Where does that voice come from?
Love it or hate it, it's the one I got. So, you know, but yeah, I mean, I've always been, uh, you know, thankful that it's definitely doesn't sound like everybody. So, um, yeah, I'm grateful for that. But that's the only voice I know. You know, I was born with it. So, just kind of over the years, it's, you know, I think for this album, I wasn't really interested in screaming a lot, and I think I kind of got away from that actually the last, you know, at least the last 36 album as well. So, you know, I wanted to sing more and, you know, try and just lean into that aspect of my voice a little more, and that was a lot of fun to do. And you know, the screaming's a little bit there when it needs to be, but most of it's pretty melodic.
Oh, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. Well, let's talk about the kind of the formation of this band. I'm sure that's one of the questions you're getting asked a lot, but just kind of take us back to how this one came together.
Yeah, I was just you know, right at about the beginning of the big lockdowns and the COVID era. I got a text from my buddy Joel Stretzel, and he let me know his brother was putting out a solo record, and he was trying to get some singers on there that he liked, and asked if I would do it, and he immediately said yes. Had no idea what Tyler's music was even about, but I love Joel, so I was down to do it, and I just became fast friends with Tyler over basically texting, and then the birth of Zoom for me anyway.
Nice.
Uh, and we just I lent some vocals to his solo album. I got to do my with my daughter as well. She sang on it,
Oh,
which was
so
super
cool.
cool. I'd never done anything like that. And so yeah, that was how it started. And then as time went on, and I wasn't really planning on doing any music, to be honest. I was kind of, you know, just burnt out on the whole thing and wanted to reset and spend some more time with my family. And, you know, I love my bed. So
Right.
I was enjoying it. I'm working uh, as a co-host on the morning show at the rock station here in Alaska. And now I've been there 7 years, but
Oh, wow.
that had just kind of started for me as well. And that was exciting for me, just a different extension of myself. And as time went on, Tyler and I, he was thinking about maybe doing another solo record with a whole bunch of other singers, and including me again. And in turn, we just decided to kind of write a couple more songs just for him and I. And then next thing I knew, uh, we grabbed John Kita, who I had known for 20 plus years from touring with Diecast back in the day. And then grabbed Brad Horian, who was also in Diecast, and then Ryan Manning, who was, you know, in Blitzkid and Pentagram, and I forget the hardcore band name. I feel bad about that, but I love you, Ryan. Sorry, I forgot your name. But, yeah. Anyway, so we just kind of formed the band, and there was no expectations, no deadlines, no pressure, just fun, and we had 5 or 6 songs pretty quickly, and I was doing demos here in Anchorage. And next thing you know, I watched a documentary on the Zodiac Killer, which has always been kind of an interesting figure to me because I lived for 1 year in Northern California in 7th grade. And for Halloween that year, there was like a big alert that he had resurfaced after all these years. This is in the 80s.
Okay.
And I didn't so I always was interested in that dude. And anyway, one of the ciphers in that documentary was all the kills would be his slaves in paradise, but he spelled it paradise like rolling the dice. And
Okay.
me being a stickler for spelling, I couldn't go with that. So I thought Paradise Slaves was a cool name, and the boys liked where it was from and the idea behind it. You know, not that we're advocates for serial killers by any means, but that's where the name came from.
Okay.
And we had a band, and we, like I said, I wasn't expecting it, and it was super, super cool to, do something with a new group of guys. I've been playing music with my brothers in 36 since I was 18 years old. So, um, and I love that, but this was a different thing, and I was interested in trying it. So, I went out to the East Coast months later, and we had a full record and recorded out there. And now we've played a couple shows and got a couple more lined up this year. And it's not the typical band. We're not hopping in the van and hitting the streets. I did that for almost 30 years. So
Right.
I'm not interested in that, but I still want to play shows and, share this music with people that are interested in it. And for anyone that is, I'm extremely grateful. But it's not
You know,
the normal band thing.
kind of hitting on that last statement you said there, if you're into it, you're gonna love it, man. If you ever have a bad day in your life, just go to the comment section on these YouTube videos for Paradise Slaves. Dude, it is a Brock love fest. I was going, just kind of getting the vibe of the fans, and it's like everybody is just like, I'm so happy to hear Brock singing again. It's so funny to just sit there, and it's all positivity, and it's all beautiful, man.
Yeah, that's special. I'm extremely grateful for that. I don't do any social media. I've been off it maybe for 3 or 4 years.
Which is
So I
smart.
don't I don't look at it at all. I don't even look at the comments on the YouTube stuff.
Yeah.
I don't. But the boys tell me, and I think that's awesome. That's really cool that people are still interested and enjoy it. So yeah, I'm really grateful for that.
Um, it's funny. You were talking about, you've got some shows coming up, and I saw that the Five Finger Death Punch is playing Alaska, and obviously, if you're going to play Alaska, you got to get you on the bill. So that's awesome that you're going to be playing with those guys coming up soon.
Yeah, it's super cool. I'm the events director here at the arena also, and so I never played this arena. Well, it's the only arena that we have. We played the parking lot, a Warp Tour park in the parking lot years ago. But I've never played the arena. Of course, I've been longtime friends with Ivan and the boys in
Yeah,
Five Fingers. So, but we submitted just like everybody else would have had to. So we had to go through management, and always helps to have a foot in the door. But yeah, we're excited about that one. It'll be my first time playing the arena here, so we're looking forward to it.
very cool. That's the crazy thing about the world we're living in now is, like, you're in Alaska, the boys are in, Boston or wherever. It's like this whole conglomeration of just how the internet works these days. It's wild how bands can come together like that.
Yeah, that is special. I mean, just the file sharing through emails, and it makes everything a little bit easier. Obviously, you wouldn't back in the 80s, 90s, you wouldn't have been in a band really without
Yeah.
living together in a near vicinity. So, yeah, we're pretty far away from each other. Uh, but the Zoom era we're in, or what is this, StreamYard?
Yeah. This one's StreamYard. Yeah.
StreamYard, yeah. I mean, you can do all this stuff now, and it's super cool. I'm not a massive technology fanatic, but stuff like this is. I was just actually thinking about this because all the press just started, and back in the day, you'd fly over to Europe and do those press tours for a couple of
Hmm.
weeks, which was super, super awesome. I mean, it was really
Oh
just
yeah.
a trip to go party and talk to people that wanted to talk to you about music, which was awesome. I'm pretty sure that probably doesn't really happen much anymore because it happened right here, like just like this. So, um, yeah, you lose some, you win some, and
Right.
yeah,
Well, talking about, the guys being in Boston and you're in Alaska. I mean, you and I are roughly the same age. So it's like growing up, if you wanted to be in a band, like your perfect drummer could be one town over and you not even know he's there unless
yeah,
and you happen to see like an ad up at the guitar store or something for looking for a drummer or something like that. And now it's like I can just scour the internet if I want to and find musicians to play with.
Well, that's kind of funny you bring that up because the way that we got Ryan, our drummer, is Tyler found him on YouTube playing a drum cover of the song we did on his record,
Oh, nice.
which was nuts. I was like, he was like, sent me, he's like, hey, look at this dude. He's like playing the song we wrote. And I was like, that's incredible. And, he lived a few hours away. So, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, if you're any musician looking for band members now, just type in blah 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 cover and see if they're
Mhm.
already playing your stuff, and you're already like, oh, you're already one foot in the door. And then
Right.
vice versa, if you're looking to be in a band, go record versions of every band out there's stuff because eventually somebody's going to be looking for a drummer or guitar player.
Yeah, totally.
It's funny in talking about kind of being roughly the same age, man. Every time I think about starting a band or joining a band or anything like that just sounds awful to me. Like just and
Yeah,
so
totally.
you doing it again, man, is it's got to be fun.
Yeah, it is. I totally agree with what you just said. And what I'm doing is not
Right.
like I said, I'm not leaned in, no discredit to what we've done and what we're doing, but it's not the typical situation. Everyone's got their own, professional gigs in their lives and families and things that um, keep us away from that. Everyone getting in the van and going, and I'm totally happy with that. I wouldn't do it otherwise. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be able to do it. I got responsibilities, and um, but that being said, I'm extremely stoked that I can do it at this stage of my life. I'll be 50 at the end of next month,
Nice.
believe it or not, and the grays show it, but it's all earned. It's all earned.
Yeah, every time I look in the mirror, man, a little bit more gray, a little bit more gray. I'm just
Oh no,
like,
man, you're doing pretty good. You're doing pretty good.
not too bad, not too bad. Yeah, I'll be 46 this year, so yeah, it's not too bad, too bad.
Okay.
So, do you have a long relationship with Tyler, having known Joel for so long, or anything like that?
No, I didn't. Like I said, I met him through the initial contact. I knew he had a brother, but I had never met him, and I really didn't know what bands he was in prior. Um, so yeah, I was. It was. I've been friends with Joel for so long that I felt kind of bad I didn't know more about Ty, but um, yeah, Ty's great. I'm stoked that we're buddies now, and it's cool playing music with him. He's a sick guitar player. John Keita, I can't say enough about him. About he's just a wizard. Like he's got his hands in so many things, from scoring movies and filming and all this stuff that he does out of his studio in New York. Um, that just the whole group of guys are just the sweetest dudes, and that's the other reason I'm doing it. If they weren't as cool as they were, I wouldn't be interested. And I think that they feel the same, because it's not the number one priority. And I don't mean to stress that in a sense that I don't care about it. I'm just trying to, you know, explain the whole feelings behind all of it. And,
Yeah.
so for those guys to want to do it at this medium speed, I guess, is cool for me.
Yeah, man. I when you talked about earlier about, like you love your bed too much, man. That's the one part of touring I could never think about going back to is like, it's like trying to find that perfect spot in the van in between like laying on the floor between seats and all this other nonsense, man. I'm just like, I'm too old for that. If I sleep wrong in my own bed, I wake up sore. There's no telling how
Yeah.
how you wake up in a van.
Yeah. Your hips don't feel right. Your back, your neck. Yeah. Gotta take care of ourselves. Get a good bed. Spend money on shoes, meat, and beds. Those
And
are the
like that.
three things you need.
Man, it's funny talking about shoes. I went so long in life wearing like Chucks and everything else. I finally bought like a nice pair of like Nikes, like Air Force Ones or something. And I was just like, oh my God, what have I been doing to myself my whole life?
Totally. I was a Vans guy my whole life,
Yeah.
and Vans hurt. No disrespect, because I love the look. I've always loved them. But man, now I wear the Nike Air Maxes.
Yeah. I've got some of those too.
Better on your back. But yeah, it's for sure. The Vans will give you some shin splints. There goes
Yeah.
my endorsement.
There you go. Yeah, yeah. The Vans Warped Tour no longer coming for
Yeah, man,
Paradise
I'm out.
Slaves.
Sorry, boys.
Yeah. Yeah, I just went to the chiropractor the other day for like the first time ever, and dude, he was all wrestling me down on the ground, and next thing I know, I'm like getting popped this way and that way, and
How
that
much
was
sore
wild
was on
walking out
your
of that.
legs?
Just a little bit. Like I was surprised. He was like just a hair off. I was just like,
Yeah.
all right. I was, your whole life you're like, I don't have one leg shorter than the other, and the next thing you know, you're like, well, this is happening and that's happening. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, yeah, no, I've been a couple times too, and, it's amazing how the body can get out of sync.
Yeah, all these years of moshing around and whatnot. Talking about Joel, man, and like one of the best, like, when you have those shows in your life, I'm sure you've got them too, where you're like, oh, dude, I saw Ozzy and Metallica back in the day. At this point, one of my shows for me is Kill Switch 36, 18 Visions from Autumn to Ashes, like that tour, like that was a fucking banger of a tour, man. Like everybody's at the peak of their powers on that one.
Yeah, that was a sick tour. I think, if I remember correctly, we 18 Visions and Kill Switch all had Heart album covers, and we kind of
Right.
all realized it on the tour.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an awesome tour. Love all those bands, and yeah, that was a fun tour for sure.
That's when like Howard, like I first saw Howard Jones live, and like
Yeah,
that dude can, much like you, that dude can sing on anything, and I'm all in. Like no matter what, I'm like, oh, Howard Jones is guesting on that. I'll be listening to that one.
yeah.
Such a good dude.
Jonesy's a mutant. That guy's just a bad mofo.
Yeah, good stuff. So you said that the album coming out May 2nd. You're not diving into a tour bus, but are you guys like at least planning on release show, all that good stuff, like shows here and there? What are we looking at?
Yeah, we had the August 9th show here in Alaska, and then on April 2nd we announced another show. It's not my show, so I can't jump the gun on it. But we will have another show which is right near the release date. And that's it for now. That's really all we have planned. I know we're gonna release another single before the album comes out. We've released 3 so far, 2 videos. I think we plan on doing another video, which is cool. I never was a massive fan of doing videos, but and another thing about videos, we did those 2 videos we released. We did them in 48 hours. It was like 100 degrees in Scranton, Pennsylvania, with the coolest people. And I had just been basically on the couch for years, so coming off the couch and doing 100 takes of each song, I thought I was going to die the first 3 takes of the first song. Like I was like, oh my God. So, but it was a lot of fun. And, yeah, My Good Eye, shout out to those guys. Awesome people that did our 2 albums. Crazy enough, they actually were a part of a 36 video like 15 years before that, which I'm brain farting on which video it was, but it was super cool to find that out when I got there.
Oh, nice. Yeah. It's wild how this community is so small, and like
Yeah.
the kids you met 20 years ago at a meet and greet are now, doing other stuff for the bands later on in life and things like that, man. It's wild how all that kind of works out.
Yeah, it's always cool to see people that are still doing it, number one, because it's difficult, and maybe moved into a higher position like those guys have. Yeah, it was definitely cool.
So tell me about your morning show, man. I'm a giant radio fan. I love listening to like morning shows and things like that. So tell me about yours.
Yeah, it's called the Bob Rock Show. My partner, his name is Bob Lester, and he's had the show for 30 plus years. I grew up
Okay.
listening to it in high school.
Nice.
So it's the rock station, which is K Whale here, 106.5, and we just have the best time, man. It's we do the 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. slot Monday through Friday. So I used to go to bed at 4 a.m. Now I get up at 4 a.m. So yeah, I'm at work by like 4:30, and it was a wonderful, healthy change for me in my life, and I'm so grateful for the job. I've learned so much from Bob. You know, I get to endorse companies and help build their businesses and in
Yeah.
turn my own. So it's just a whole nother extension. And the radio show is a blast. We play music, but we don't play like we're an active rock station, but we don't stick to the format of that. We do play it sometimes, but we like to play what we want to play. So we'll play, dude. I mean, today is Throwback Thursday, so we do a lot of 70s, 80s rock. It doesn't even have to be rock. We kind of live on our own little island, which we're super stoked about because our boss, Nikki, she's awesome. And she lets us kind of have a long leash, much longer than we deserve. In any other city, we probably would have been fired a while ago. We lean a little more conservative, right, on the show as well. So we don't get into the politics too much, but it's definitely there. It's part of the conversation sometimes. So yeah, man, it's a lot of fun, and I'm stoked to do it
Nice, nice. You still following hockey very closely like you normally do?
every day, brother. Every single day. My Flyers absolutely suck, and they're collapsing again at the end of the season, and I'm bummed again. But yeah, man, my life revolves around it. My daughter, she's going to be 16 this summer, and she plays on the Team Alaska team here for the girls. And you know, that's my favorite thing to do is go to see her and watch her play. She's actually going to play in New England next year at a prep school out there. So we're excited for her
Nice.
development. And I love hockey, man. It's everything for me.
And then she'll know people because of the band already kind of being established out there and
Yeah,
all that stuff.
the team went out to Boston in January. I couldn't make the trip, but the whole band came out and they made signs in the stands, and that was super cool. So yeah,
Oh, that's awesome.
and the band was here last summer. We opened for 3 Days Grace here last summer, and so they stayed at the house for a week. So you know, she's good buddies with the band now.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, you gotta love the camaraderie of everything. Um, yeah, it's funny, man. I'm a Preds fan, and like going into the season, you know, signed Stamkos and everybody else, and it was supposed to be this magical season. And honestly, statistically, this is the worst season since I think our inaugural season, back in like 95, 96. So it's wild how it just goes to show you chemistry and all that stuff matters, and just signing a bunch of names doesn't.
Yeah, yeah. Getting Stanner over there, that was a big pickup for you guys. It was
Yeah.
probably pretty tough for the Tampa fans to see him go, but yeah, exactly what you said. I mean, it's all about how these teams gel together.
Yeah.
These draft picks, if they're ever going to really take their game from junior hockey to college hockey to the AHL, does it translate to the NHL? It's only a handful of guys can do it. So Philly's been in a rebuild for years, and I see a lot of great things there, but it's going to be a bit.
Yeah.
You're coming up against these teams that just are stacked.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's a hell of a league. It's the best game in the world, in my opinion, and I love watching it.
It's fun to watch, especially if you have a dog in the fight. I can't.
Yeah,
It's tough for me to watch just two random teams, but if it's something that I got rooting interest for, you're on the edge of your seat the entire game. There's no real letdown because at any moment, turnover or anything else could just happen. It's crazy.
the NHL playoffs. If your
Mm.
team is in it, even if it is
Oh,
in it, but when it is,
yeah.
my schedule's cleared. 3 o'clock. The games start here at 3 o'clock. Oh,
Yeah.
I gotta be watching it. So yeah, I love. You know what I really have gotten into the last few years is the World Junior Tournament at Christmas. I don't know
Okay.
if you've ever watched much of that, but it's just an incredible tournament with the best under 20 players in the world, minus Russia lately, but which is unfortunate because Russia needs to get back in there because there's incredible hockey players from Russia. So hopefully that'll happen for them down the road. But yeah, no, playoff hockey. Hockey's great. You ask one question and we're still talking about it. And that's my problem with hockey. I could go on.
No, no, it's good, man. Dude,
Yeah,
it's wild, man. I've through music, hung out with bunch of bands, and go out to bars with Deftones and everything else, and you know, majority of the people could really give a shit But I took out some when I was living in Nashville, I had some friends on the Tampa Bay Lightning came through town and they're like, "Hey, we got a night off. Let's go do something." So I went and picked them up in my shitty car, took them to the bar, and man, as soon as it got word that like pro athletes were in the building, like just all the females just descended on them, and it was crazy. Like somehow I ended up being like the point person. They're like, "Can we talk to your friends?" And I'm like, "You can talk to whoever you want. I'm not the boss here." But yeah, it was wild seeing like how just like the switch flipped in that place, and like everybody was just on top of them.
Yeah, I bet. I bet. Yeah, there's something special about those dudes rolling around. They got a good aura about them.
Oh yeah, yeah, and it's funny too. Like I ended up trying to not get too deep into it, but I ended up they were basically in my car and whatnot, and then that was the year, a couple of years later when Canada beat the US in the Olympics. That was like 08, 09,
Oh
10,
yeah.
somewhere in there, like roughly there. But they were panning the Canadian team. And I was like, that guy was in my car. I'm
Oh
buddies
yeah.
with that dude, like
That's good.
it was fun. It was wild, man. Kind of just that whole scene, man. But yeah, hockey's fun, man. It's a great game, and it's fun. I know you're a big fan,
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
and you guys have the most wild fucking mascot on the planet.
Oh yeah, Gritty. Yeah,
Ready?
Gritty's the best. I actually hung out with Gritty.
Oh, nice.
I went to the NHL All-Star game a couple years ago when it was in Vegas. And yeah, I just rolled. I probably had a little bit of liquid courage in me and rolled up on him and took a video with him. And I watched him, up close and personal. That dude is so funny. He was like, people wanted to get photos with him, but if you weren't wearing a Flyers jersey, he didn't want to do it. And I just,
Right,
that's so like not normal mascot behavior.
right.
And that's what I love about him. But yeah, what a psycho.
Yeah, mascots are wild, man. I like watching there's like all these like the mascots playing like junior kids like in football and stuff, and the mascots will just take the kids out. And I'm like,
Oh
that's
yeah.
what you gotta do, man. Show them who's boss, man.
Many years ago, when I was living in Portland, I went to a Portland Winterhawks game, which is the Western Hockey League, and they had all the Oregon school mascots during the intermission were going to
Okay.
race from goal line to goal line, and the only one that could skate was the Oregon Duck, and he was just housing everybody, just full open ice hits.
Yeah.
They're not supposed to take their mascot hat off. I mean, they're flying off, crawling to get it. That's why I always loved the Duck too. That guy was badass.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man. Well, man, as we wrap up, man, anything else we need to hit on? I know the singles are out, the album's coming out, all that good stuff.
No, nothing that I can think of specifically other than just pure gratitude to anyone that is interested in listening to it and enjoys it. And I'm just grateful for the time, man. Thanks for wanting to talk to me. I appreciate it. It's good to see you, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, take care. And once again, Paradise Slaves with Hell in His Eyes out May 2nd, Spine Farm Records. And Brock, man, thanks again for taking the time.
You bet, brother.